Hello, my New Life family. I thought it was important as we enter into this nominating committee season to make sure that you all understand what the various ministries of New Life do and what we're looking for when we ask for people to volunteer for those various positions. I understand that at many churches, ministries can be tailorized to the needs of that specific church. And so sometimes what deacons did at one church may be different than what deacons do at New Life, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to take this time to quickly go through all of the ministries that we have available. Now, before you panic, you do not have to listen or watch this entire video. If you look at the description below, there'll be a title and a timestamp. So if you have questions about a specific ministry, all you have to do is find that ministry in the description and go to that timestamp. Or if you want to listen to all of it, you are more than welcome to do so as well. But again, I thought that this would be fitting so that way you have a better understanding of what the positions entail, what we're looking for, and then you can begin to ask yourself and evaluate what ministry fits you best, what fits your gifting, your availability, your skills, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and start going through all of the ministries. Hope that you enjoy this. Of course, if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to our elders. You can also reach out to me as well, and we will be glad to help you see what ministry fits your abilities and your skills best. So if you look at the form that we gave out, I'll just start right at the top. We have our church leadership section. So falling under church leadership, we have church clerks. Now this is a very vital and crucial role to any church. The church clerk is responsible for maintaining the church records and documents. So making sure that we have everything in order. So the church clerk works closely with the pastor as well as the treasurer and some other departments as well, in making sure that we are prepared for baptisms, that we have the records and the certificates ready, that we are prepared for baby blessings, and that we have those certificates ready, that we are able to keep track. The church clerk monitors our attendance records and our membership records. The church clerk also is the minute keeper for all of the board meetings as well as the church business meetings. So obviously this is a position that can use assistance, so that way all of the responsibilities do not fall solely on the clerk's shoulders, but having assistants that are able to step in should the church clerk not be available. So this is definitely a position for those who are detail oriented, that are able to handle specific details, that are organized and able to keep track of things. This is not a position that you would be upfront a lot, or if you are upfront, you're mainly reading reports or reading information. So it's not a position where you would have to just speak on the fly, but there's information that is being communicated. So that is what our church clerks do. Moving on to our elders. Our elders are a part of the pastoral team. So elders work very closely with the pastor to ensure that there is spiritual growth and spiritual guidance that is being offered to the church. The elders also work alongside all of the ministry leaders to help them navigate any challenges that they may be having within their team, and also making sure that whatever information and assistance they need, the elders are there to help. Elders are also a part of Bible study, preparing individuals for baptism, visiting, and really just ensuring that the church as a whole is growing spiritually, that their needs are being met. So the elders work very closely with the pastor as well. Next, under the church leadership, we have the treasurer and the treasury staff. So the treasurer is responsible for documenting all sources of money that come in. So they keep track of the tithe, they keep track of the offering, any financial donations that are given to the church. The treasurer records and keeps track of those. The treasurer is also responsible for making sure that tithes that we receive are remitted to Allegheny East Conference on time. The treasurer is responsible for monitoring and managing the church budget. Every year we vote a budget determining how much each department or ministry should be able to spend. The treasurer monitors all of that. So similar to the clerks, a very detail-oriented task and responsibility. It is something where having assistants can help to ensure that all of the responsibilities do not fall on the treasurer. So that is the treasury department and the treasury staff. Moving on now to our church facility section. So falling under church facility, we have audiovisual. Audiovisual is a very integral part to the worship service. They are the individuals that are responsible for everything that is on the screen. So lyrics, scriptures, slides, they make sure that all of those are on the screen for us to see in-house. Audiovisual also is responsible for the streaming. So if you ever watch our services from home, it's audiovisual that makes sure that the sound is clear and crisp, that the picture is good. So they are monitoring the cameras, they are monitoring the sound both in-house at church as well as for our live stream. Audiovisual also makes sure that the microphones are good. So this is an extensive and it's a very significant and a very important role. So this is something where team members are needed to be a part. Audiovisual also takes flyers and videos and makes sure that they are ready to be seen on Sabbath morning. So if you have a knack and a skill, or even if you want to grow in learning how to run that type of equipment, this is definitely a high commitment position where being present on the Sabbaths that you are assigned and being on time and ready to work is crucial. But this is a wonderful behind the scenes, wonderful support ministry. Next, under our church facility, we have communications and webmaster leader. So this is a position that is very, very crucial. The communications leader is responsible for making sure that all of our members are aware of what is taking place at New Life. So all of the activities, all of the ministries, the communications department makes sure that you know about it. So when you receive a text message, those that have signed up for text message alerts, that comes through the communications, the communications department. If you have, if we decide to start doing email newsletters, that goes through our communications department. Additionally, our website having a webmaster, all of the information that is found there, the e-bulletin, the information about the various ministries, who's in charge of them, all of that is done by the webmaster. One thing that we would like to include and do more is getting our Facebook and Instagram page back up and running. Also needing assistance for people that are able to create flyers for our events. So this is something where if you are if you are a graphic artist, a graphic designer, if you have a background or interest in marketing, making sure that people receive information, then this is the ministry for you. So that is communications. Next, we have hospitality. So our hospitality department ensures that the kitchen is available and stocked and ready should anyone want to have a fellowship dinner. So those that are a part of the hospitality staff, on those days that we do have church dinners, they will help and work with if a ministry is going to have a Sabbath lunch. Hospitality will work with the ministry to ensure that they have access to the kitchen, to the ovens, and those things. At certain times, hospitality will actually be responsible for certain lunches, and so they will make sure that there are servers present, that the food is present. So this is another ministry that definitely requires a team to ensure that tables are set up, that things have been cleaned after being used, trash has been taken out, that we have, pots and pans and those things are in good condition, and just overall making sure that the environment is hospitable when we have Sabbath fellowship lunches. So that is hospitality. So even if you cannot cook, you do not have to be a cook or a chef to be a part of hospitality ministries. But if you are willing and able to step in, roll up your sleeves, to serve others with a smile, to make sure that things are prepared and ready for lunches, then this is the ministry for you. Moving on, we have stewardship. So stewardship is responsible for lifting high the spiritual principles of how we spend our money, what we spend our money on, and what we do with our time and our talent and our treasure. So stewardship just gives us that spiritual focus, reminding us that God does not want us to give in a grudging way, but to give cheerfully, and the blessings that come from having financial discipline and making sure that we honor God with our finances, with our money, with our time, and just that whole principle of stewardship across the board. So stewardship ministries just keeps that at the forefront of the church, reminding individuals there can be nuggets and tidbits. This is not necessarily an event-driven ministry. While there can be events that take place, stewardship is a part of the overall growth and health of the church as a whole, reminding us that there are spiritual principles on how we spend our money and our time. So that is stewardship ministries. And then the final ministry position under church facility is our safety officer. This is another very critical need. So some of you may be familiar with risk management, or even risk management officers. So risk management makes sure that we have insurance, that we document any kind of safety issues or events that may have taken place. So if someone falls down the stairs, our safety officer would make sure that we recorded, was the ambulance called, is the person okay, anything that may have to deal with our insurance. The safety officer makes sure that we are aware of any activities that take place off of our property. Anytime we have an official church event that takes place off of our property, off of our campus, it must be approved by the board, so that way our insurance will cover should any issues arise, any physical safety issues arise. So our safety officer is responsible for making sure that those needs are communicated, that ministry leaders are aware of that, and that we are following. Our safety officer would also work with our deacons, our ushers, and our guest services to ensure that we are safe on our campus. We all know that we cannot be naive in these days, that there are active shooting that take place on church campuses. There is issues of safety in terms of people being kidnapped, and there's a whole host of things. So while we all are grateful that you may feel comfortable and at home at New Life, because we are a church, our doors are open. And so the safety officer also works with other ministries to ensure that we are physically safe, and that our children are safe, and that that we decrease any possibilities of something dangerous happening on our property and on our campus. So if you are someone that has, law experience, security experience, if you've served in the armed forces, or even if you just have a passion and you're able to be aware and alert to ensure that people are safe, this is definitely a ministry that you would be a part of. So we would need some staff to be a part of this, in addition to having the leader or the lead safety officer. Okay, now we're going to move on to our worship services. So within our worship services, we have our deacon and our deaconess. And oftentimes we think of communion as, that's the first thing. And that is one of the ways that our deacons and our deaconesses serve, but they also serve in many other ways. So they help with baptism, making sure that the pool is ready, and making sure that the baptismal candidates are dressed and ready, and that we can receive them with love and anticipate their needs, that they have towels and clothes and things after they have been baptized. Our deacons and deaconesses also work with the pastor and the elders to do visitations. They also work with the pastor and the elders to give communion to the sick and the shut-in, and just making sure that those who may not be able to come to church on a regular basis, that their spiritual needs are met as well. I often love to emphasize that what deacons and deaconesses do is more than just beautification of our church and our building. So they do more than setting up chairs and watering the flowers and, making sure that our church facility is clean, but they also have a spiritual role in helping lead and check in on members and visiting. And so there is a very significant and needed spiritual element to being a deacon and being a deaconess outside of communion, worship service, and the building upkeep. Those things are included as well, but just to paint a holistic picture of what our deacons and our deaconesses do. They are on standby on Sabbath to really anticipate any needs or shifts or changes to make sure that our service runs smoothly. So there's a lot of ways that our deacons and deaconesses can serve, but really having a heart of service, having a heart to make sure that people are not, that they don't feel overlooked, that those who would like a visit can receive a visit. Receiving visits is not limited to just the elders and the pastors, but giving a phone call, stopping by after Sabbath service, just to say hi on your way home. Those are things that our deacons and deaconesses can do. So if you are willing to serve in that capacity, this is a ministry for you. Next, we have our guest services. So our guest services are our first line of defense, so to speak. So when people come to New Life, when they park their car and they walk towards our front door, one of the first faces that they will see are our guest services. So anyone who has had a wonderful experience of customer service, whether it was at a resort or on vacation or at a nice restaurant, just that warmth, that acknowledgement, being greeted with a smile, being welcomed, being told information about here are the restrooms, this is where you sit, this is the mother's room. If they arrive for Sabbath school, this is where children's Sabbath school are. Our guest services are just that. They are there to serve our guests, our first time or second, or just individuals who come to worship with us that may not be familiar with New Life. So this is a ministry that requires you to have a love and a passion for people, to have a bright smile and being comfortable talking and conversing with people that you may not know, and also having the ability to help them feel at home. Some people may be very receptive, others may, not want as much attention. Being able to read their body language and respond in kind. So guest services is extremely significant, because we should not look at worship ministry starting once the service starts. It starts once they enter the door. Once they come into our church, they are now, New Life is being evaluated. Is this a kind and friendly church? Did I feel welcomed? Is this a warm place? And it's easy for first-time guests and visitors to kind of slip in and slip out. But guest services ensures that we catch them, that we try and get their name, greet them with a smile. Even if they may need prayer, finding an elder or someone to pray with them, just seeing what their needs are and doing the best to make them truly feel welcomed and at home. That is guest services. So if you have that passion and that love for people to make them feel welcome and at home, this is the ministry for you. Next, we have our minister of music and our minister of music assistant. So these are the individuals that have the gift of singing and the gift of leading others in worship. Music is such an integral part of our worship service. So our minister of music and the assistants help to coordinate who sings, the music schedule, month by month, week by week, ensuring that the band has equipment that is needed, making sure that there's a lot of communication and working together between the minister of music and the audio-visual team, making sure that they are in sync. So there is a lot of scheduling and understanding and monitoring everyone's schedules to make sure that we have music on a weekly basis spaces, selecting the hymn and making sure that we have songs that uplift us spiritually. So that is what our minister of music does, and the assistants help by leading out the praise team from week to week and being willing to sing. So if you have the gift of singing and the gift of music and would like to be a part, this is the ministry for you. And last but not least in this section are our ushers. Our ushers and our community or our guest services. Our ushers and our guest services, they work together. They work hand in hand. So our ushers are inside the sanctuary, making sure that people, if they're looking for a seat, that they're able to find a seat. Sometimes someone is looking for a friend. The ushers can assist with that. Ushers also help in just keeping the overall order while the worship service is taking place. So there will be times where we may not want people to enter the sanctuary because prayer is taking place. So the ushers would be the individuals to ask them to just wait a moment until whatever is happening in the sanctuary is done, and then we will open the doors and allow you to enter in. Ushers assist with that. If there is some kind of medical emergency or something, ushers oftentimes are the first individuals to see that and can alert our medical staff, or just making sure that we get the assistance that is needed. So ushers help with the flow and the not the organization of the service, but making sure from a attendee and from a congregant perspective that things are running smooth, that things are running orderly. And so they're also alerts and making sure that there are no issues that may be arising. So that is what our ushers do. So this is another, you have to be able to work with different people, with all different types of personalities. You have to be very comfortable meeting with people, and at times being firm and letting them know, this is the time for this, or this is not the time for that, or this is where, a seat that we have available. So there are times where you do have to be firm in nature, but more than anything, being kind and assisting all of our members, everyone who attends, and feeling welcome and making sure that their needs are met. So that is what our ushers do. Okay, moving on. So next section, we have our membership ministries. So under our membership ministries, we have 50 plus. So 50 plus celebrates, I like to call them our sensational seniors. So 50 plus is just making sure that those that are over 50, that they are not forgotten and that they feel involved and that they feel included. And so doing various events of financial tips and financial information. It could be, health classes and how to stay active and engaged, not just being young at heart, but taking care of your body. So making sure that the needs of those that are over 50 are met, that they are growing spiritually as well, and that they have a place at New Life. That is what our 50 plus ministries does. Next, we have our Agape Ministry. Our Agape Ministry is focused on making sure that all of our members feel connected. So they are specifically looking at, did you have a birthday? Did you have a wedding anniversary? Our Agape Ministry right now is orchestrating daily prayer, where the church comes together and prays for one another in the mornings and in the evenings. Agape Ministry works with the elders and with the pastor and alerting if there is someone whose family member is sick, or if a member of themselves is sick, if they have specific needs or prayer requests. Agape Ministry is our in-house, making sure that our members' needs are met, that they are feeling loved, supported, and encouraged, and that we do not miss or overlook anybody. That is our Agape Ministry. Next, we have Family Life. Family Life is responsible for making sure that the health of the family is remembered, and giving tips and planning programs that helps our families be healthy, whatever your family may look like, whether you have a single parent family or whether you are, more of a traditional looking family with a husband, a wife, and kids, whether it's grandparents, just any type of family issues, family structure. Family Life is here to minister to the families, to make sure that our families are healthy and whole, because we know God created family, and we know that the enemy is attacking the family unit. So we want to equip and empower and encourage our families. So that is the focus of Family Life. Next, we have home and school. Home and school is responsible for uplifting and promoting Seventh-day Adventist Christian education. So while we do not have a school that is super close to where we are, some of our students do attend, or some of our members may be interested in attending Pine Forge or looking at other schools in the area. So home and school would want to make sure that we are supporting, that we are encouraging, and that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that the schools that are within the Allegheny East system are strong and that they are thriving. So that is what home and school does. These next three ministries I'm going to lump together. We have men's ministry, singles ministry, and women's ministry. And they are pretty true to their title. So each of these ministries focuses on a specific group within our congregation. So whether it's men, whether it's individuals who are not married, or whether it is women. So all three of these responsibilities are there to meet the spiritual needs and create safe places for encouragement and programming to take place. So things that cater specifically to the unique needs of these different population groups, our men, our singles, and our women. So each of these groups have different needs. And so these ministries just make sure that they feel seen, that they feel heard, that they have fun, that they are encouraged and empowered. So if you have a passion for helping men grow, or helping singles grow, or helping women grow, then any of these ministries could be a place where you can lend your gifts and your talents and be a part of. Alrighty, we're moving down the line, almost at the end of the ministries at New Life. So we're continuing now with our discipleship services. So within our discipleship services, we have health ministry. Health ministry is uplifting our health message. We believe that how we take care of our bodies matters. So health ministries encourages us to exercise, to eat healthy, to get rest, and to get sunshine, and all of the things to take care of our temple, to take care of our physical bodies. That is what health ministries does. So if you have a passion for that, for health, and it's not just limited to exercise, but making sure you get quality sleep, that you're getting fresh air, that you're out in the sunshine, that you're moving your body, that you're eating well, then health ministries is a place for you. We can also talk about prevention for various illnesses and doing health fairs and those types of things. So all of that falls under the purview of health ministries. Next, we have our outreach and community services. So that is the ministry that helps coordinate and plan activities where we are able to be a blessing to our larger Gaithersburg, Montgomery County community. So whether it is the back to school drive that we just did a couple of weeks ago, whether it is picking up collections of items that we donate, there are various activities that New Life already does, but also coming up with ideas and finding other ways that we can be of a blessing to our community around us. That is what outreach and community services does. Next, we have our personal ministry. This ministry is working alongside with the elders and the pastor to make sure that those who are baptized continue to find healthy ways to navigate into our community, that they have a place that if they need continued Bible studies, personal ministries will work with them. Personal ministries also just is another way of making sure that we as a church are growing. So if there is another individual that needs Bible studies or help in growing spiritually and personal development, that is what personal ministries does. Next, we have our prayer warriors, which is all in the name. These are our individuals who fight valiantly through prayer, calling on the name of the Lord, lifting up prayers for others, truly interceding on the behalf of those who have requests that we know of, and also just praying for our church in general, because we may not know all of the needs, but we know that everyone can use prayer. So if this is a passion of praying and interceding for others, this is the ministry for you. We also have our prison ministries. This is a very, very important ministry, prison ministries, make sure that we develop a connection with inmates and helping them grow spiritually as well. Some of you may not realize it, but there are Adventists who are in prison. So you can work with the prison chaplain to have a worship service there, to have a Bible study there, or just to connect with any inmate that would love to have someone pray with them and encourage them, to help them understand scripture and to grow in their relationship with the Lord. So this is a very powerful ministry as well, making sure that we go to all places to be of light and to allow God to use us to minister to them, including our prison. So that is the focus of prison ministries. And then last in this section, we have our Sabbath school superintendent. And under Sabbath school superintendent, we have our Sabbath school teachers, we have the Sabbath school secretary. So if you have a passion for helping people study the Word of God through the Sabbath school lesson, whether it is adults or children, then somewhere in this ministry there is a spot for you. So working with our kids, teaching them the Sabbath school lesson, working with our adults, teaching them the Sabbath school lesson, and working with the superintendent, who is actually the leader over all Sabbath school, but working with the superintendent to make sure that our Sabbath school program is robust, that there are classes that are vibrant, and that people are being stimulated intellectually and being challenged to look at the Word of God and just have good discussions and good growth. That is our Sabbath school ministries and everything that falls under that. So if you're interested in that, we have a place for you. And last on our list, again, last but not least, we have our children, youth, and young adult ministries. So with these, one thing that is important is that we do background checks to make sure that you are safe to work with our children. That is very, very key. We want to make sure that we protect our children. And so to be a part of these ministries, know that that is a requirement. But within this section, we have our Adventurer Club, our Little Dippers. And so that is what we call our uniformed clubs. So it is a very specific and tailored curriculum, similar to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, but it has a much more spiritual focus to it. But working with our children and helping them go through their curriculum, they have different tasks that they are required to complete in order to navigate from one class to the next, and it's based on age. And so that is, in short, our Adventurer Club. And similar to that, we have our Pathfinder Club. So Adventurer Clubs are for, I believe, 10 and under, and then Pathfinders is over 10. Forgive me if I'm wrong on those ages, but it's around that time. But our Pathfinder Club is similar to our Adventurer Club. It's just for our older youth, our older children. So it goes up to age 16. And so our Pathfinder Club is the North Star. And so they do camping, they do other activities. They have a curriculum base as well as they go from one class to the next. So if you are someone that likes working with children with a curriculum that is already outlined and there are specific tasks and things that need to be taught to children, then this is something that can work for you. If you love being outdoors, there's a heavy element of outdoor activities, walking and hiking and camping and those types of things. If that is a love and a passion of yours, then there is a place for you with the Adventurer Club or the Pathfinder Club. Similar to that, we have our AYS, which is the Adventist Youth Society. This is programming for ages 13 and up, making sure that they have programs that are tailored specifically to our teens and our young adults and that their needs are met. So that is our AY Club, or as it's called, our Adventist Youth Society. So it's a space to create service activities, fellowship and game night recreational activities for our teens and our youth. It's a place to give, it's a space to give them opportunities to have good discussions, to grow and to develop relationships amongst each other. And so that is the focus of our AYS department. Next, we have our children's ministry leader. So children's ministry is separate from adventurers. So children's ministry is really looking at the overall ministry needs of our children, making sure that they have children's church, the children's ministry leader works with, and a lot of these ministries overlap. So none of them exist in a vacuum, but they work with the Adventurer Club, they work with the music ministry, making sure that there's a children's choir, making sure that there are activities to help our children grow in the Lord and also have fellowship opportunities, fun opportunities together, perhaps planning a field trip for the children of our church or a game night specifically for the children of our church. That is what children's ministries does. So if you have a passion for working with our children and making sure that they are growing in the Lord, this is a ministry for you. Similar to our children's ministry leader, we have Vacation Bible School. Our Vacation Bible School leader, again, this is another curriculum-based specific event or specific program that is for our children. It typically takes place in the summer, and we can open it up to the community as well. And it's a focused curriculum that teaches our children some aspect or some element about the Lord. And so it's full of crafts, activities, music, and snacks, and it's just a wonderful event. It's usually about a week long or a couple days, depending on how it's formatted, but it is an all hands on deck event, making sure that children are registered, that crafts are ready, that snacks are ready, that there are decorations and there's songs and music. So it is a high intensity short-term event, but it is one that is very fun. I often help out behind the scenes because I like to prep and make sure things are good, but there's room for you if you are not one that necessarily wants to teach the children, but you would like to be a part of helping set up decorations or prepping for crafts or being a part of registration. There's space for anybody to really help out with our Vacation Bible School. So having a leader and also having a team, that is Vacation Bible School. We have our sports teams. So within Allegheny East, churches can have various teams and they can compete against one another, or even just having a sports team for the church. So whether it is volleyball or basketball or soccer or other things, being a part of that, if you have a passion for helping lead and organize and being a part of that ministry, then this is the ministry for you, our sports teams ministry. So you can ask to get more information about what ages and what sports are available, but just wanted to summarize that for you. And then finally, we have our youth department. So again, seeing this overlap, our youth department just makes sure that there are activities for our teenagers and our young adults, that we are not forgetting them. It's easy to focus on the children and then focus on adults and kind of lose our teenagers. They may not always be as eager as kids to be involved and participate, but they definitely have needs and they do desire to be a part. So our youth department makes sure that there are programs and activities to help them grow, to help them mature, to help them get to know the Lord. So that is our youth department. So these are all of the ministries for New Life. And so as I shared in my sermon a while back, there is space for everyone. Whatever your talents, whatever your giftings are, it is okay if you are someone who may be nervous being up front, or you may not feel as if you have, this skill. We put a lot of emphasis on the worship service, but as you can see from all of these ministries, that New Life is more than what takes place on Sabbath morning at 11:30, that we have many ministries and opportunities for you to serve based on your skills and your talents. So please take the time to pray, to seek the Lord, fill out your form and complete it, turn it in by October 5. So as we begin to select not only the leaders, but also put the ministry teams together, that you are included and that you are finding a way to serve and be a blessing right here at New Life. God bless you all. Take care.